the 79-year-old Patriot of Burkina Faso. At sunrise in Sapone, a small town on the red soil plains of central Burkina Faso, a lone bicycle casts a long shadow. In the saddle is Tinkwilga Nana, thin and bent but determined. He straps on worn sandals and mutters a mossy prayer and more, the language spoken by over half the nation. en.wikipedia.org. As he pedals toward the capital, in his rusty pannier is a single, heavy sack of cement, his modest gift for Captain Ibrahimtraoré's Faso Mebo initiative. Each push of the pedals carries the weight of decades of history, the hope of independence, the memory of Sankara's revolution, and a lifetime of sacrifice for his homeland. Building Faso brick by brick. In the dusty outskirts of Ouagadougou, a team of workers and officials gathers under an acacia tree. Shovels clang, mixing sand, quartz, and cement into molten gray mortar. Even Prime Minister Jean-Emmanuel Ouedraogo dons a safety vest and kneels to help lay paving bricks. The scene is almost surreal, Burkina's leaders and citizens literally building the nation together. As the government's Burkina 24 news site explains, Faso Mebo is a call to every citizen. Each person must bring his stone to the construction of the country. burkina24.com. In fact, even the ministers answered that call. In one gesture of solidarity, they pooled resources to donate 150 tons of cement to the project. burkina24.com. Each brick they set under the scorching sun is a pledge that the people of Burkina will be the actors in their own transformation, not passive spectators. burkina24.com. Side by side with ordinary Burkinabe, the Prime Minister gently taps a freshly molded brick into place. In this intimate moment, the highest office in the land is symbolically on the same level as the old farmer with a bag of cement. It underscores how far Faso Mebo has reached, from capital to countryside, becoming a true citizens' movement embodied even at the highest reaches of the state. burkina24.com. The motto rings out. The goal is to build by ourselves, with our own means and our genius, a more beautiful and resilient Burkina Faso. burkina24.com. Whether president or peasant, everyone is a mason of the nation's future. A life of sacrifice and hope. Tinkwilga Nana's life has been intertwined with the country's struggles. Born in 1946, he grew up tending millet fields and dreaming of a better homeland. He still remembers his pride when Thomas Sankara came to power in 1983 and renamed the country Burkina Faso, land of upright men in Moor and Diala. en.wikipedia.org. Sankara's grand projects, literacy campaigns, railways, local fabrics, fired his imagination, but he also endured droughts, coups, and corruption. Decades later, the young Captain Traoré stirred those old hopes again. International observers note that Traoré has cast himself as a pan-Africanist leader intent on freeing Burkina from neo-colonial influence. BBC.com. Even likening him to Sankara's legacy. BBC.com. To Tinkwilga, this made perfect sense. The new leader spoke of self-reliance and dignity, just as Sankara once did. He had heard how Traoré cut ties with former colonial powers and even built a gold refinery to keep Burkina's own wealth at home. BBC.com. In the quiet of his hut, the old man declared to his wife and grandchildren, "If our leaders build Burkina with our own hands, then I will add my own stone." 2. The Journey of Faith. Early one morning, Tinkwilga set out. The road from Sapone to Ouagadougou stretches about 30 kilometers, nearly 20 miles, over flat savanna. The sun rose behind him as he pedaled, the air already hot and dry, the way it is in the Sahel. Villagers on the roadside paused to watch the sight. A frail 79-year-old on a creaky bike, a bulging sack on his back. Women fetched him water. Children giggled and waved, sensing something special. He greeted them all and more with a nod, telling them he was on a pilgrimage for his country. By midday, his muscles burned, but he pressed on. Dust kicked up around his wheels. Every pedal stroke felt like turning the gears of destiny. Only late in the afternoon did he reach Ouagadougou's rim, where the city's noise and chaos met the quiet fields. The city at dusk loomed ahead. His destination was finally in sight. A simple gift, a nation's dream. Tinquilga arrived at the Faso Mebo production site under the golden evening light. Workers turned at the sound of his bike horn. Here was the old villager from Sapone, emptying a single sack onto the concrete floor. It was just one bag of cement, a tiny drop in the ocean of a nation's needs, but they could tell it came from the heart. News crews, already covering the project, quickly interviewed him. Offered a chair with the dignitaries, he only smiled shyly. When asked why he came, he answered simply through an interpreter, "I have little, but I give what I can for Burkina. I want our children to grow up with better roads and schools." The cameras caught the moment, grandchildren behind him beaming, village elders nodding with pride. To everyone watching, it was clear, his humble sacrifice was a symbol of something much larger, a legacy of love for the homeland. As the Prime Minister later reminded the nation on television, "We are building this country ourselves, with our means and our genius." burkina24.com. In those words, and in that bag of cement, Tinquilga found his reward. He had pedaled 30 kilometers with nothing but faith and a sense of duty. In the cool evening, as he watched the first new pavers set by his contribution, he felt the weight of the world lift slightly. One man's simple act, a frail old father adding his stone, had become a testament to patriotism and intergenerational hope. Under the Burkina sun, he had passed on an inheritance of pride and courage to the next generation. Sources: as reported by BBC News and local media, Captain Ibrahim Traoré's movement echoes the ideals of past heroes like Sankara. BBC.com. The Faso Mebo initiative calls every citizen to contribute. Chaque citoyen apporte pierre à la construction du pays. burkina24.com. Whether by donating cement, even ministers gave 150 tons. burkina24.com. Or, in Tinquilga's case, by riding 30 kilometers on a bicycle to deliver a single bag for his country's future. These actions reflect the president's vision of building a more beautiful and resilient Burkina Faso with the people's own hands. burkina24.com. A motto that carried this 79-year-old man on his journey of hope.